The night had wrapped the world in a soft, silver hush. Outside, the moon floated gently between drifting clouds, casting a quiet glow over everything it touched. The air was still, calm, and comforting, as if the entire world had agreed to slow down just for a little while. In a small town, nestled between rolling hills and whispering trees, there stood a cozy little house with warm yellow lights glowing through its windows. Inside that house lived a young woman named Elina. She had a gentle heart, a quiet smile, and a habit of staying awake longer than she should, often lost in her thoughts. Tonight was one of those nights. Elina sat by her window, her hands wrapped around a cup of warm tea. The steam curled upward like a soft dream fading into the air. She wasn't thinking about anything in particular, just feeling the quiet, listening to the distant rustle of leaves, and the soft ticking of the clock behind her. Somewhere in the silence, she felt a longing, not sadness, but a quiet wish for something more peaceful, more still. As if the night had heard her, a gentle breeze slipped through the slightly open window. It carried with it a faint, soothing fragrance, like fresh rain mixed with blooming flowers. Elina closed her eyes for a moment, letting the breeze brush against her face. And when she opened them again, something had changed. The room felt softer, calmer. The light from the moon seemed brighter now, almost magical. And right there, just beyond her window, she noticed a narrow path she had never seen before. It shimmered faintly under the moonlight. Curious, yet calm, Elina stood up and slowly walked outside. The night embraced her like a quiet friend. The path stretched ahead, glowing softly, inviting her forward without a single word. She took a step, then another. With each step, the world behind her seemed to fade, replaced by a gentle, dreamlike landscape. The air felt lighter here. The silence wasn't empty, it was full of peace. Soon, she found herself in a meadow bathed in silver light. The grass shimmered as though each blade held a tiny star. Fireflies floated lazily in the air, their soft glow flickering like distant memories. Elina smiled, her heart feeling lighter than it had in a long time. She walked further into the meadow until she reached a quiet little pond. The water was still, perfectly reflecting the moon above. It looked like a doorway to another world. Kneeling beside it, she touched the surface gently. Ripples spread outward, slow and soft. And then something beautiful happened. The ripples began to glow, forming images, memories perhaps, or dreams she had once forgotten. She saw herself as a child, laughing freely under the sun. She saw moments of quiet joy, reading a book, listening to rain, smiling at strangers. Each memory appeared gently, and then faded just as softly. There was no sadness in watching them go, only peace. As she sat there, a soft voice seemed to whisper through the breeze, not in words but in feeling. "You are allowed to rest." Elina took a deep breath. For so long, she had carried thoughts, worries, and endless questions in her mind. But here, in this quiet place, none of it seemed to matter. The night wasn't asking anything from her. It was simply holding her, allowing her to be still. She lay down on the soft grass beside the pond, her eyes drifting up to the sky. The stars above twinkled gently like they were watching over her. Her body relaxed, her thoughts slowed. Even her breathing became soft and steady. The world around her seemed to hum with a quiet lullaby. Time passed, or maybe it didn't. It didn't matter. All that existed was this moment, this calm, gentle stillness. And in that stillness, Elina felt something she hadn't felt in a long time. She felt safe. A soft warmth spread through her chest, like a quiet light glowing from within. It wasn't loud or overwhelming, just steady, comforting. Her eyes grew heavier. The stars above seemed to blur slightly, their light blending into soft streaks across the sky. The breeze continued its gentle song. And slowly, without effort, Elina drifted into sleep. As she slept, the meadow grew even quieter, as if honoring her rest. The fireflies dimmed their glow. The pond stilled completely, becoming a mirror of perfect calm. The night watched over her, silent and kind. Back in her little house, the window remained slightly open. The curtains swayed gently, as if breathing with the rhythm of the night. And in her room, everything was just as she had left it. Peaceful. Still, waiting. When morning would come, Elina might not remember every detail of this quiet journey. The glowing path, the silver meadow, the whispering breeze, they might fade like a dream. But the feeling, the calm, the softness, the gentle release of everything heavy, that would stay. Because sometimes, the night doesn't need to be remembered. It only needs to be felt. And somewhere deep within her, that quiet night would always remain, a place she could return to, whenever the world felt too loud, too fast, or too heavy. A place of stillness. A place of rest. A place where she could simply close her eyes and let go.